Hey everyone, welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I'm your host, Sandy Ballard, the badass business coach. Thanks for being here, for listening, for watching, and for sharing the podcast with others, and most importantly, investing in you. And yes, we are starting December, the end of the year, the last big push to get you going. And so I want to do something a little different. I want to share with you everything I do with a client. So we do this review process in December. And then we actually set up our goals for the new year before the end of the year, right? I used to do it a little earlier, but it seems like we're getting into December, and that's okay as long as you have them set. So when you wake up on January 2nd, not 1st, because you're going to just take off on the 1st or whatever, you're ready to go. Things like seasonal depression can get in the way and just life in general, the holidays. So I like to make sure everyone is prepared before the end of the year. So you know what you're going to do. You're going to just kick ass and show the year who's boss, right? So for those of you, I guess I'm going to share my screen with you. And those of you that are on a podcast, you won't be able to see this, obviously, but all of you need to go to my website, badassbusiness.coach, and go to the worksheets page and download all of these worksheets. Okay. And you can do this yourself. But for those of you who are watching, I am going to share my screen now. There you go. And I'm going to enlarge myself a little bit and enlarge the worksheet just a little bit. There we go. So this is what we do. So every week, so for the next 4 weeks, what we're going to do is today we're going to do a goal review, an official 3/4 and a half-ish, goal review. And then we're going to set yourself up for success. So we're going to look at what are you going to do? What can you do? What do you want to do? What do you need to do for the next month? And so next week, we'll actually look at that. In that worksheet, you'll actually keep and do your progress check on every week. And then in week 3, we will actually, so that would be the 19th. So in that podcast, the video cast, we will actually I'll go through the actual worksheet with you, where you'll set up your personal and professional goals as well. Okay. And then the last week, we're going to go through a worksheet that helps you start the year strong. So that would be on December 26th, the day after Christmas, for those of you who celebrate that. A lot of people are off regardless, no matter what holiday or where you live. Maybe not where you live. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. Okay. And so that's the thing, like I want to do the review. So we're going to look at the first 3 quarters, and then, you can talk about where are you right now. We only have 1 month left, and that's okay. All right. So let's look at this, because so many things I mentioned, seasonal depression, that can get in the way, because there's some people that really have it. I found out a longtime friend of mine had it, and I never knew. I mean, I've known her for so long. Didn't know until she took a few years ago. She took my Finish the Year Strong workshop, and she said she got so much more done than she ever has at the end of the year. So that was kind of cool. So anyway, things like that in life, and we know the last couple of years with the pandemic, with job losses, and all these things, we can get things done, and things have been weird. So we want to go through and make sure that, even though I've been harping on you on my soapbox about reviewing your goals and digging deeper and really looking at what you need to do to finish the quarter strong, well, we're here. We're a mile away from the finish line, right? So let's do this. All right. So what you want to do is look at quarter 1 on average. What did you want to accomplish? Yes, you should have your monthly goals, but so for clients, I do monthly reviews, quarterly reviews, and then yearly reviews. So quarter 1 on average, what did you want to accomplish? Did you achieve it? Yes, no, or somewhat. And then we look at the same thing for quarter 2 and quarter 3. So the next thing I always have people look at is what happened, what worked. Maybe in quarter 1, if you put yes, you nailed it. It was great. What helped you? Did you get to hire a person to help you or get a volunteer? Did you move? Did you get a new job? Did you get a promotion? Did you start a business? What really helped you stay on track? Did you just, I don't know, get a coach, hire me, hire another coach, a mentor, take a class? Um, really thinking about what helped you is so amazing, and it can be so insightful because you can use that in other areas of your life. All right. So thinking about that for each section or each quarter. And then looking at if you checked no or somewhat, what got in the way? Hmm. Was it losing a job? Was it not getting the promotion? Was it moving? Was it losing a staff person? I've had a client that has been in a habitual, like, staff hiring and moving around, and luckily, I guess a couple people have left. Not luckily that they left for good reasons, not because they hated their job or anything. It was just life changes, they needed to leave. And then there was, a couple people that they did let go, and that worked out well because then the staff they helped by stepping up and stepping into that role because there wasn't that negativity, the office drama. And even, if you're an individual, I have a friend that just went out on her own, just started her new business. Well, she's been in the business for a very long time, but she started on her own. She was working for someone, became a partner, and then just stepped out on her own. So that's going to be a whole different set of goals and action steps and things like that. So, but it also was a completely different impact on her life and her family. So, looking at the positives and negatives of all of this stuff. And then the biggest thing right here you'll see is how do you feel about your environment? And I'm talking literally and figuratively. I'm going to scroll up here just a little bit. Do you feel like your environment is set up for success? Yes or no? What do you think about it? Years ago, I had an attorney for a client, and she had boxes. Attorneys are notorious to have those. That's why they call them they're bankers boxes, but attorneys use them. We all use them. Um, they had all their files. Well, she didn't want to carry them all or couldn't, physically carry them all down to the basement to the storage room. And so they were all kind of piled up and stacked up. And she just kept tripping on them. And then when she'd see them, when she'd walk in her office, she would just be like, "Oh, that's just I need to do that. I need to do that. I need to do that." But right. Well, we were talking through that, and it was like, well, your paralegal is a young man, right? Yes. Have him help you. Go get the cart, load them all up, and move them down there. Seems very simple, but she was so caught up in the negativity of it and that pain point that she couldn't see the solution. So, that's, oh, I'm genius, right? Now, sometimes we just get so caught up in the clutter, mental and physical clutter, that we don't see the forest through the trees, right? So looking at that, do you have a crooked picture? Do you have a light bulb out? Do you have a box that needs to be moved, a closet that needs to be cleared out? Do you have dust? I have dust on my shelf, my office shelves right now. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But is it distracting? Is it something that every time you walk in the room or every time you turn on your computer, what about your computer files? Are they a mess? I have a lot of computer files that are a hot mess, and I have a lot of physical files. I threw a lot out over the last couple of years when we moved and unpacked and that kind of thing. So looking at with your environment, is it really set up for success? And also, it could be now with people working more from home or even hybrid situation. Is it set up to where, do you have a designated space to work? Do you have an office area? Do you at least have a desk? Do you have a space that you could call home? Sometimes you do. Sometimes I was just at a neighbor's house, and she's like, "Oh, the desk," because it's a 1-bedroom unit, and her desk is sort of in the kitchen dining area corner. and it's just kind of over there. And you could tell she's not real thrilled with it. She's working through that process because she just moved in. So looking at what that needs, and again, like when we're both home, when the man Candy's home working, the other day, someone actually on Zoom was like, "Do you have the TV on?" I was like, "No, that's somebody else like about 30 feet from me on another call." So just working through that. So there's some days, and I talked about that. Oh, I don't a month or two ago about that similar situation, same thing, both home, but trying to work through it. And I couldn't do what I needed to do because I needed quiet and I needed focus, and there was nowhere I could go to get that. So I switched gears and I did other things and finished that. But anyway, just seeing what you can do to make the most of your environment, right? To make sure you're set up for success. So thinking about that, because that also can affect your goals. So then the next thing, yes, habits, habits, habits. You've heard me talk about the book Atomic Habits. If you've not read it or listened to it, please do put it on your Christmas list, your Hanukkah list, your gift list, your birthday list, whatever, or just go flip and buy it, right? Habits. Habits are what is going to keep you growing, moving, succeeding. So with all that said, with all talking about what got in the way, what in your environment is not set up for success. So what are those distractions? What are those maybe some bad habits that you've gotten into? During COVID, maybe you weren't working out as much because gyms were closed. But now that we're out of COVID, have you gotten back into working out? What can you do to replace it with a new, healthier habit? And when I say healthier habit, I'm not saying go eat an apple or celery instead of an apple pie and celery dipped in peanut butter like I love. I'm just saying a new healthier habit. Healthier is mentally as well as physically, and is also nutritionally. So no matter, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to lose weight or live a healthier lifestyle, then yeah. If you're eating apple pie, turn that into, I don't know, just an apple with some cinnamon and sugar on it. I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist. That is for them to find out, to help you with. But anyway, so looking at that, what are your distractions and bad habits? What's been going on and keeping you from making progress, keeping you from achieving your goals? And what can you do? What's a new habit you think of that you could think of that could help you, that you replace that with? So really just digging deep into all of this stuff, right? And a lot of times this is where I hear that's in one of my books. I know what I need to do, but what? You either want it bad enough to where you'll get off your ass and figure it out, or you'll just let it go, right? And sometimes life does get in the way so much that things have to take a pause. Well, it's okay if at some point it's not forgotten about. At some point you get back into it. All right. So really, really looking at all of that stuff. And then it's time to reset and let go of the regret. Because if you're caught up on what you didn't do, didn't get, haven't achieved, you're just going to get pissed off and go, well, screw it. There's always next year, right? No, that's my whole purpose in life, is to help you stop saying there's always next year. Yeah, I've carried goals over from year to year, but I look at what's happened and did I make any progress on that, right? So imagine the end of the year. So we're starting this last month. So you've got 4 weeks. What can you do to finish the year strong? What last push? Talked about last week, being intentional, right? What were you going to focus on? Because yeah, some of us might only have 2 weeks left in the year to where kids are out of school, families coming in town. It's going to be like Christmas Vacation movie all over again, right? But and then some of us might be working on the holiday all through the end of the year without a break. So what can you do? We can all, no matter who we are, where we are in the world, what's going on in our life, there's something you can do. And maybe it's just you need to lose that half pound. Maybe you need to get one more sale. You know, if you sell something really small and can make 15 sales, cool, kick ass. But looking at being reasonable. I'm not saying don't push, don't stretch yourself a little bit, but be reasonable about this right here. if you have a high ticket item and want to sell and something's 10, 15, $20,000, how good are you at sales that you can sell 5 of those? But really depends on how badly you need it and how badly you want it, right? So what will you do to create that push, that opportunity to finish the year strong, right? So then the last part on this is creating the plan. What 3 things will you do to help you finish the year strong, right? What will you do? So on this worksheet, for those of you who are listening, you haven't downloaded it yet, it says, I will do, and there's a blank, and then by blank. So what's the date? And there's 3 of them. There should be 4, but we'll get to that on next worksheet, but that's okay. It's, people think in 3s, 3 to 5 things, but 3s are where that's usually where I keep things. That's why there's 3 distractions. Bad habits, 3, have healthier habits. I usually have you do 3 action items and things like that. So creating the plan, what are the 3 things you'll do by when to help you make the progress? And I just I need to fix this on this worksheet, but the last section, the last line is commitment. Are you really committed to you? Are you really committed to finishing the year strong for you? And I don't care if you make 20,000 a year or 20 million a year. You still need to focus on these things. You still need to review these things. I had a client who was number 4 in the franchise for the state he was in, or no, I'm sorry, for the whole United States. Number 4 franchise his first year, but he wasn't paying attention to things. He saw the money coming in and wasn't paying attention to some things he was getting overcharged on. And so what is he committed to? So what are you committed to? Are you committed to finishing the year strong by making some changes? And I'll have that fixed on the worksheet and re-upload that. But that's like I said, this is the start of what I want us to do. I want you to, again, to continue to be intentional, be focused with your time, and the last 4 weeks is going to be really important. And like I said, okay, maybe you will only have 2 weeks. Then look at what you can do in those 2 weeks. So by when is your last day of work for this month, and go from there. And we are talking December. You can use this worksheet anytime, and you can use these worksheets, the next one that we'll push for December. So next week, we'll have one that's focused purely on 4 weeks time frame, and you can use that anytime throughout the year. All right. Like I said, all the website or all the worksheets are available on my website, badassbusiness.coach. Go to the worksheets section. If for some reason you have any trouble finding them or downloading them, contact me, Sandi at sandiballard.com. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to helping you and being alongside you for this journey, and really appreciate you investing in you. And if you need help going through this, let me know. I have individual sessions that I can do with you just to review your goals, just to help you set this up for the rest of the year. All right. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great time doing this, and contact me if you need anything at all. My email is Sandi at sandiballard.com. You can always message me, private message me, wherever you're seeing this, hearing this, or make a comment in the comment section, and I'll get to you. Thank you so much for investing in you. Cheers.